Let's look at this naming of branched hydrocarbons. I've already introduced you guys how to name branched hydrocarbons. So I want you to name this one by one. We're going to start with 1.1. 1.1 says give the IUPAC name. So we're looking for the IUPAC name of the following organic compounds. So we are naming using the IUPAC standard, of course. So the first one, which is A, we are given, what type of formula are we given, guys? A, what type of formula is this?
Condensed, sir.
Yes, it's a condensed formula. So before you guys can analyze everything, please, I always tell you guys to rewrite your condensed formula as a structural formula, because the structural formula is way clearer to see, because you can be able to see all the bonds, you can be able to see all the carbons and their respective positions. Okay, so here this is CH2, so I'm going to say that this is a carbon that is bonded to two hydrogens. Most of the time when you draw it, you draw your hydrogens in this A configuration, and then here there's a double bond. They've already shown you that we have a double bond, then we've got a carbon. Then now on this carbon, you guys notice, or you guys realize that there is a bracket. What does a bracket mean, guys? What does a bracket mean? What does the bracket mean? Yes, no?
So it means that it's a substituent.
Yes, so a bracket, it can be a substituent, or sometimes it's not always a substituent. Let us look at the cases that are different. When do you say that a bracket is a substituent, and when do you say it's not a substituent? So when you've got something like CH3 and then in the bracket you have got CH2 and then they say 2, is this a branch, guys? This CH22, is this a branch? Yes, Orifa?
No, sir, it's not a branch, it's a main chain.
Yes, it's part of the main chain. So you guys need to always look inside your brackets. Inside your brackets, are you having CH3? Because CH3, guys, I've already told you that this means it's a methyl group. Okay, it's a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. But the fact that this is in brackets, so this methyl, it is actually bonded to this carbon here. So the bracket actually means that it is bonded to this carbon, but you look inside the bracket specifically to say, what are we having inside the bracket? If you're having CH3 inside the bracket, you're going to say that's a what? That's a branch. Okay, but if you are having CH2, it's not a branch, it's part of the main chain. Yes, Orifa?
So what if you have something like I'm gonna read it out loud, sir.
Yes.
Bracket CH3 close 3 CCH bracket CH3 brackets 2.
CH3 brackets 2. Okay, you want us to construct the structural formula. Okay, sharp.
So it won't be possible, like to have CH3 ahlangene.
Yeah, all right. That's when we need to explain this bracket. So these brackets means that we are having this CH3 and there are 3 of them. All of them, they are bonded to this carbon that is following. So usually the correct way that would like when we are drawing this is to start with the carbon, then follow with the CH3 and say CH33 in this way. This is the most appropriate way, because this bracket, it tells you that what? It tells you that this following carbon, or this carbon that is next to the bracket, is bonded to 3 methyl groups. So when we are constructing that, we are going to have this carbon, which is carbon number 2, this carbon that I'm labeling with 2. It will be bonded to CH3. It will be bonded to 1 CH3. And then it will also be bonded to another CH3 on the side. Then it will be also bonded to another CH3 on the side. Okay. Now, so basically this is the most appropriate way of representing. So this carbon, which I have said I've labeled with 2 here, this carbon which I've labeled with 2, it is the one that is carrying these 3 methyl groups. Okay, and then when you proceed, you will now bond it to this next carbon that will be bonded to this next carbon, which is C. And then this next carbon, you can see that it has got a bond of H. So this is C and then H. And after this H, you can see, guys, that this is CH32. So it means that we're having two methyl groups. These two methyl groups, to which carbon are they connected to? These two methyl groups that we have at the end, they are connected to this carbon here that I've highlighted in red. Let me just re-highlight there. This carbon here, guys, this carbon here, it's having these CH3s, and there are two of them, and it's also having a hydrogen. So when you plot there, you must have a CH3. Yes, Orifa?
Oh, so I have two questions.
Yes.
So the first question, sir.
Yes.
So you're allowed to swap the formula like the way you did. You're allowed to manipulate it so it can suit you.
Well, it's not really that you are allowed to do that, but honestly, when you are constructing, usually the convention that we use, we usually start with the carbon that is bearing these bonds. Because if you are seeing these three methyl groups, someone would assume that you would draw three methyl groups at first, but you cannot really do that, because these three methyl groups, this CH33, they are actually bonded to this carbon. So usually when they write it, like the convention that we use, we start by writing the carbon, then after that we write all the groups bonded to that carbon. In this way, it becomes way easier to see that this bracket here, it means that all of these three things, they are bonded to this carbon. But since they wrote it in this way, although it may be a bit confusing to some other people, but basically the carbons that we're having in the main chain, it is this one. So we're having this carbon, and then we're having this carbon, which is the third carbon here. So this carbon, which I've labeled with 2, it is bonded to these CH3s. It's like CH3, remember guys, is a carbon having 3 hydrogens. That's a methyl group, and it is bonded to another methyl group. I'm sure there are 3 of them. You guys can see the subscript 3 outside this bracket CH3, right? Can you see the subscript, guys? These 3. Yes, so it means we're having 3 methyl groups. All of them, they are bonded on this carbon, or on this carbon number 2. Then after that, we have got another following carbon that has got a hydrogen. So this is the carbon which I've labeled with 3, and it has got a hydrogen. But this carbon, after this hydrogen, you can see, guys, that we have got a CH32. So it means that we're having 2 methyl groups. Where are they bonded to, these 2 methyl groups? They are still bonded to this carbon, which is carbon number 3. Because this carbon number 3 is supposed to have 4 bonds in total, right? So 1 bond has already went to hydrogen. It is this hydrogen here, right? It is this hydrogen here from the condensed formula. And then on the structural formula, it is this hydrogen. So the other 2 bonds will accommodate these 2 other methyl groups indicated. Yes, Sam?
So, aren't we having a double bond, like, because of, I see 2 now in your number 2 it's C, and your number 3 it's C. Therefore, double bond.
That's the problem with the formula. Whoever wrote the formula is meant to confuse you, but that's not going to be a double bond. Definitely not going to be a double bond.
Okay.
So yeah, so basically, how I would prefer it written is like this: is C, CH3, 3, and then C, and then after that we have got an H, then we have got a CH3, 2. This is the proper way of writing it. So when it's written in this way, you guys can clearly see that we start with a what? We start with a carbon, this carbon, and then to this carbon we are bonding 3 methyl groups. So we have got a methyl group there on top, with a methyl group at the right hand side, with a methyl group also here down here. Yeah, that was at the left hand side. So this is the proper way of writing it. But since it's your textbook, it's fine. Yes, Orifa?
So the second question, sir, that I have, right?
Yes.
So, sir, I just want to confirm something. So, if, let's say, in the bracket, it's something like CH3 CH2 close bracket 3 then CH, right? So sir, that means so am I allowed to switch the numbers inside the brackets and put the CH2 first and then CH3 and
No, no,
then
no. No, that's an ethyl group. CH3, CH2 is a condensed formula for an ethyl group. Okay, so when you
yes
see
sir,
CH3, CH2, and then what's written outside?
3
3.
CH. Yes sir. Sir, I understand it's a E file. So I'm asking, can I switch the numbers? Because like when you draw it, you start with the CH2.
Why not start with the CH3? It's possible to start with just CH3 here.
You draw, eh?
Yes, you can
Oh,
start.
because it's gonna start from the left.
Yes, you start with the CH3. That's why CH3,
Oh,
CH2. You don't have to swap it.
so in my head, I was gonna start from the top. So like it was not even gonna. That's why I wasn't adding up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So guys, hey, please mind this is very disturbing. Yeah, but I would prefer it to be written in this way. Oh, but guys, back to the naming part. We're already doing a practice on condensed formula here. So on this one, we're having a methyl group. You guys can see here that we're having this carbon C, the one that has got a double bond with the first carbon, and it is bonded to a methyl group. So that must be a side chain. We must have a what? We must have a side chain of a methyl group like this. This is the side chain of a methyl group. And then this side chain of a methyl group, now after that we've got another CH2. Right, there's a CH2 here. Do you guys see it?
Yes.
Yes, so this is a CH2, and then after that there is a CH3. So you guys should now name this. What is the name of this?
So the one you do now.
Yes, the one, the one that we're doing, it's a structural formula. Yes, let's hear from Orifa.
So it's gonna be some. I'm trying, but it might be wrong. But so I think so it's gonna be one. One,
Yes,
one, and then sir. No, wait, no, sir. Wait. Okay, no, wait. Sir, one line.
one line dash.
The if dash, yes, sir. I think. Then two, two methyl,
To metal like this.
two line. Yes, methyl. One, two, three. Butene.
Butene.
Sir, I don't understand. Sir, is it not
It's wrong. You
butene?
cannot have this. This is unacceptable. This is incorrect. How can you have one dish two now?
Sir, I don't know, sir, but like, sir, must I
Let's
tell
hear
you
Sam.
my wrong logic?
Yes, it's wrong. Let's hear Sam. Retry again, or if I in your spare time. Let's hear from Sam. What is the name of this compound?
Okay, so it's going to be 2 dash
Uh-huh.
methyl
Methyl.
butane
In.
dash 1
In.
dash
No, I didn't hear properly. Sorry. After methyl.
butane.
Butane. Like this. Like
Yes,
butane. Like this.
yes, a dash
Yes. Dash.
1 dash ain.
One dash in.
Yes,
Like this. Is this correct, Bandisil?
Yeah.
Let's hear Bandisil. Is this correct?
No, sir.
What is the correct way
No,
of?
sir.
Okay, let's hear from Bandisile first. Yeah.
2 dash
2 dash. Sorry.
methyl
Let me just go back here. Is 2 dash methyl
but BUT
BUT
dash 1
yes
dash in.
dash in.
Like in. Yes.
Is this the correct one?
Yes, sir.
Sam, first of all, where are you getting the AN? Why are you putting the AN here, Sam? Okay, before we get there, let's start here with the last part of the name. You put an A in. Guys, we say due to the suffix of a name, it indicates the homologous series to which a compound belongs. I've been emphasizing that for millions of years, guys, saying which the last part of the name tells you the homologous series. Let's start here at the basics, guys. To what homologous series does compound A belong?
Alkene.
Alkenes. Alkenes. Manje, where's the A coming from, Sam?
No, sir, ngibhale ngendlela right, but pronunciation kube ne-error kimi.
Alkene. Okay, say alkene. You say alkene, Sam.
Alkene.
Yes, alkene. Yes. Say, say it's alkene. Okay, alkene. So at the end of an alkene, the acceptable suffix is ene. And after, guys, the root name for an alkene, it is okay, having 4 carbons, is going to be but. It's only the but. The an is not needed, guys. Do you know what the an means? The ones who put butan, what does an mean? Do you know what does that mean, guys? The an?
Alcohol.
Aye, nope. Yes, no.
Means that it is an alkane.
Okay, but okay, when you get to the naming of alcohols, it doesn't really mean that. The an, we sometimes use it in other compounds. Basically, the an, it means that it's a what? It's a saturated compound. It's a saturated compound. Okay, that is why the alkanes, they end with the name ane. That an, it means saturated. Okay, so in an alkene, you are not expected to have anything with the letters an following each other. Okay, when you are naming alcohol, you guys will see it. Let's say the name of an alcohol is 1, or let's just say it is butan 1-ol. This is the name of an alcohol. I'm not yet teaching the names of alcohols, but this is the name of an alcohol, guys. Do you see that in the name of an alcohol there's an an? Do you see the an, guys? In an alcohol's name, butan 1-ol. Do you see the an? This an, it means that it is a saturated compound. Alcohols, you guys know that they are saturated, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you guys know that the bonds, the carbons, okay, the carbons in an alcohol, the bond between them, it is always single bonds. Okay, if we were to draw a random alcohol and say that this is an alcohol having a certain number of hydrogens, which I won't draw, but here we're having a certain number of hydrogens, and then I put an OH. This is an alcohol. Do you observe, guys, that the bonds between the carbon atoms, all of them, they are single bonds? Do you guys observe that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so the an in a compound, in any organic compound, whenever you see the letters an following each other, it means that it is what? It is saturated. It means that it has got single bonds between the carbon atoms. So in an alkene, we don't expect to have the letters an. So that is what will disqualify you already and say this an is wrong and this an at the end is wrong. But obviously, guys, when you are numbering here, you number which one is going to be your main chain. Can this be the main chain, guys? Let's say this one. This is also 4 carbons. It has got more carbons as well. Can this be the main chain, guys? If you label the main chain, can this ever be the main
Yes,
chain?
sir.
Let's hear.
No,
Why not, Sam? Why not? Why is it not the main chain? This blue one.
It's because of so the functional group is not there, sir.
Yes, it does not contain the functional group. Guys, I say that the main chain is not only comprising of the most number of carbons, it also consists of the functional group. If your chain does not have the functional group, it is not the parent chain. So even if this has got 4 carbons, you guys can convince yourself that this is having 4 carbons just like the straight one. But there is no, like the actual functional group here, which is a double bond, is not part of the chain. So it cannot be the parent chain. That is the most important thing to realize, that the only main chain that we can have here, it is this one. This is our main chain. This is the only main chain that we can have. Even if the main chain had only 3 carbons in it, okay, even if, as long as there's a double bond, as long as there's a functional group in that chain, that is the parent chain. So please guys, revisit my session when I discussed about the difference. That's why these activities, I'm taking them step by step. There's no need to rush you guys, because you're still getting this wrong. I know you guys wanna rush and you guys wanna finish the entire organic chemistry, but you guys cannot name simple and the branched hydrocarbons. You can only name these guys if you pay careful attention to my sessions, the way I structure them. I taught you how to differentiate the parent chain and the what and the other side chains. Okay, so you guys already know that the parent chain has got the highest number of carbons, number 1. Number 2, it contains the functional group. Like the carbon that is having the functional group, or the carbon that is bearing the functional group, it must be part of the main chain. Yes, or if
So for question A, so can you say 2-methyl, 1-butene?
yes, you can say that. You're also allowed to take out this 1. Okay, if you guys you don't like writing the 1 inside the name, you can just take out the 1 and write it at the beginning. Okay, so instead of writing but1 in here at the end, you can just rewrite this as what? You can just write this as 2-methyl dash. Remember guys, between a letter and a number, I told you that you guys separate with a dash. So this is 2-methyl 1-butene. So the examiner will already know that this 1 is representing the position of the functional group. This one here is the position of the functional group, even if you don't write it inside this butene name. Do you guys get the sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, guys. Let's be quick. It's already counting down the time here. The Zoom app. It's already counting down the time. So please, guys, don't rush organic chemistry, because I can see that you guys you still need a lot of practice. You guys don't practice enough. That's the problem, guys. This is physics. It's not life sciences whereby you just theorize everything and you think it with your head. This needs practice, guys. You meet different exercises, different scenarios. You guys need to practice more. Even with maths, guys, you can understand everything that I'm saying and even memorize it. But physics is not about memorization, it's about practice and application. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, let's now write the structural formula of compound B. You guys can see that there's CH3 there. Before you can name it, guys, write the structural formula first. So there's a CH3 there, so it means that it's a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. A carbon bonded to 3 hydrogen, and this carbon is bonded to another carbon, which is this one, and then this other carbon is bonded to the hydrogen. This bracket, guys, what is it telling us? There is a bracket CH3 here. There is a bracket CH3. Yes, let's hear from Sam.
It's a branch, sir.
It's a branch. It's a methyl branch. Once you see the bracket there, and then there's a CH3 inside, it means that this is a methyl. It's a methyl. So you're gonna have a carbon having 3 hydrogens, or it's a side chain, as a Shetrick says it there in the chatbot. So it is basically a methyl group, or it's a side chain. Then after that, you have got a CH2. So this is a carbon bonded to two hydrogens. You guys can see it here, it is. And then after that, you've got a CH3, which is a carbon bonded to three hydrogens. Let's now hear from you guys. What is the name of this compound? Yes, let's hear it from Mukobe.
The name of the compound is 2-methylbutane.
So this will be 2-methyl-butane. So you guys just need to identify the parent chain here. In this case, you guys can see clearly that our parent chain can be this one that I'm highlighting here. It's having 4 carbons, it's having the highest number of carbons, and it's also containing the functional group, because you guys can identify that this is an alkane. There are only single bonds between carbon atoms, and secondly, it's a hydrocarbon. It's like a saturated hydrocarbon. That's the only saturated hydrocarbon that we have. It's an what? It's an alkane. So this alkane, you can either highlight this as your parent chain, or you can highlight it in another way, guys. You can highlight it in such a way that it makes an L shape, something like this. This is an L shape, but this is still your what? This is still your parent chain, because it has the functional group. Because guys, remember, for the alkanes, the functional group is found everywhere. As long as you find a carbon having a single bond, all of these are the functional group for alkanes. That is why we are not strict with them. But as for alkenes, you guys should make sure that the double bonded carbons, they must be part of the parent chain. Once in J, the double bonded carbon, they are not part of the parent chain, then it is not the parent chain. The parent chain must consist of the functional group as well as the highest number of carbons. So basically, if you number these guys, you can number this A and say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and then this is 4. That will give you the bute, because the bute is the root name. It tells you the number of carbons in the what? In the parent chain, or in the main chain. And then you guys can see that on carbon number 2, we have got a side chain, or we have got this CH3 that is kind of not part. This is a side chain because it is not part of the what? Of the parent chain. So this is our side chain. It's our alkyl substituent, as I have said it previously, that our side chain is our alkyl substituent. And in this case, it's a side chain that is consisting of a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. So we say that the name of that is a methyl group. So you're going to say that this is 2-methyl-butane. The A in there at the end, it represents that this is a what? This is an alkane. So the ANE, like ANE, is an alkane. But what does the AN mean, guys? The AN in that name, the AN, what does it mean? The AN at the last part, yes, or if
So you said it means it's saturated.
yes, it
No,
means
no,
that it's
okay.
saturated. Yes. Yes. So the AN, those two letters J following each other, the A and the N following each other. Here, actually, you can see that in this AN, we have got an A and an N following each other. That means that it's a saturated compound. So guys, let's take the 10 minutes break and come back at 20:31.
Hey Lapo, I know that you've been enjoying this wonderful video, and most likely you've been enjoying watching this handsome face in front of you, but sorry ladies, I'm taken. I just here to tell you that Edu-ca-te is on the road to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I post new videos. I want you guys to pass. Okay, so if you make my dream true, I reach 100k subscribers, I will make your dreams come true. I will even get you to varsity. I will get you with 7 distinctions. Yes.
So we are complete naming these two guys that had a condensed formula. What about the name of C? What is the name of C? Yes, Tabakulu.
The name of compound C is 2,3-dimethylheptane.
Okay, so Mgobe says is 2.3 dimethylheptane. Did you guys find the same thing?
Yes, that is right.
Yes, sir.
Can you guys all see this from this way of the structural formula? Are you guys all able to see everything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. So if you guys are able to see everything from here, you don't have to rewrite these bonds and show these bonds. But if you guys are having problems with seeing which this is CH3, it means that we've got carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. Just redo it like carbon and bonded to all 3 hydrogens so that it will be easier for you guys to see. If you're having CH2, just redraw it as C bonded to 2 hydrogens if you are having troubles. Okay, but if it happens that you can just see everything in with using these subscripts, then that will be fine for you. Yeah, that's good for you. But if you cannot see, guys, please don't force. So this is C and this is H, and then this is CH3, so it's carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. Do you see, guys, which I'm kind of untying my formula and I'm making it to be more, I'm expanding my formula. Do you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so when I expand it, it's easier to see for some other people. Let me just complete this structural formula. Okay, so this is bonded to C, bonded to H. Let me just put my H here. Bonded to CH3, so it's bonded to a carbon having another 3 hydrogens. And then this is bonded to what? Bonded to another CH3 at the end. So it's bonded to a carbon having 3 hydrogens. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if you cannot see it in this way, like if it has got these subscripts, things such as a CH3, things such as CH2, things such as CH2 like this. If you cannot see this properly, guys, just redraw the entire thing and make sure that you just rewrite the entire thing because you are writing the structural formula. But make sure that you show all the bonds. When you're having CH3, it means that you're having a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. Okay, just like here, you guys realize that when we're having a CH3 here, it means it's a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. Can you guys all see that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, then from here you guys just do your carbon chain, your main carbon chain. That's way now easier. You count from, are you going to count from right to left or left to right? Let's say we've identified that our main chain or our parent chain is this one, because this one looks like it's the one having more carbons. How can you count? Are you going to count from left to right, or are you going to count from right to left? Are you going to count from left to right, or are you going to count from right to left? Let's hear there from Nobu.
Left to right, sir.
Left to right, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like
No,
this.
sir. Right to left. Right to left.
Yes, it's right to left. Why is it right to left?
It's because the what is it? The substituents must have the lowest number.
Yes, the substituent must have the lowest number possible. So if this is our main chain having these 7 carbons, you guys can see that this is an alkane, right? And the functional group is everywhere. So you can just say this is our parent chain. So basically, this is your carbon 1. Carbon 1 is the first one here that we have at the rightmost carbon 1. This is your carbon 2, this is your carbon 3, this is your carbon 4, carbon 5, carbon 6, and carbon 7. Why are you doing this? You want those carbons having substituents such as carbon 2. You guys can see that carbon 2 here, this carbon 2, it is bonded to a CH3, it's bonded to a methyl group. It's a methyl group, that's a substituent. So if it is bonded to a methyl substituent, this methyl group, basically it needs to have the lowest number possible. But if you're going to count from left to right and say that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, and this is 7. If you count your carbons from left to right, meaning that you are starting here on this carbon here, that is at the leftmost, this carbon, and say that this is your carbon 1, this is your carbon 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7. You guys are gonna get it wrong because these substituents, such as the methyl group that we are finding here, we are going to find it on which carbon? We're going to find it on carbon number 5. If you count from left to right, this will be your carbon number 5. And you find a methyl group here on carbon 5. So it's already occupying a very big number. So try to number your carbons closer to the substituents. Okay, try to number your carbons closer to the substituents if it's an alkane. And in this case, the only way of doing that is for you to number from left to right. And then you guys can now identify that on carbon 2, we're having a methyl substituent. So we're having a methyl group there. On carbon 2, this is a methyl substituent. And then on carbon 3, we are also having another methyl because it's just only consisting of one carbon, as we did, guys. So this is 2 and carbon 3. When you are separating numbers, you separate them using commas. Don't separate numbers using a dash. Don't write something like 2-3. This is absolutely incorrect. So this is 2.3. You are trying to say that we find the same substituent on carbon 2 and on carbon 3. And in this case, the substituent is methyl, but there are 2 of them of the same kind. So you need to use a corresponding prefix, which is di, as we discussed last time. The di means that there are 2 methyl groups. And then you name the parent chain is having 7, that's your hept. And then this is a what? This is an alkane. So this is a heptane. So at the end, you must have an A in there. Are you guys getting me though?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, that's it. 2.3 dimethyl heptane. So let's look at the last one, which is D. What about D, guys? Let's hear the name. Nobu, what is the name of D?
It's 3,3 dash dimethyl buttes dash 1 dash
3.3 dimethyl. Sorry, I will write it slowly though. Okay, let me just give it space. So you say 3.3, we're having a dimethyl at 3.3. Okay, so you say 3,3 dimethyl.
Yes.
Yes.
Buttes dash 1 dash dash YNE.
YNE. So this is an alkyne by implication. Let's hear from I think people are raising hands on a correct answer, or I don't know if it's correct or not. Yes, Sam?
Sir.
Yes, Bandi say.
Well, okay. Okay, so it is. Well,
okay, let's start it.
Sir.
Okay, yes, Sam?
I found 4,4 dimethyl pent dash 2 ine.
So Sam found 4.4 dimethyl, and you find what? You find pent.
Yes,
Pent what? Yes.
2 dash. Yes.
Okay, let's hear from someone else. Your name, suggestions, Orifa.
Yes, sir. I also think it's 4,4 line dimethyl line 2 pentine.
Well, you're repeating the same thing Sam said. Yes, Bandisile, you are raising your hand.
It's the same answer as Sam, sir.
Okay, let's look at where no went wrong here. Guys, number one thing, I told you when you see the subscripts, when you see things such as CH3 in your structural formula, rewrite the structural formula. Right now it's a command, guys. I know you guys were able to name C correctly. I applaud you for that, but you guys should rewrite the formula because right now, no got that we have got butte. So he suggests that we have got 4 carbons in the parent chain. Some of the carbons, they're not really visible because you only count and say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just say these are the 4 carbons and you neglect the other one. That's why I say, guys, rewrite your structural formula in such a way that you show all the bonds Okay, let's rewrite the structural formula. Now actually it's a command, because you guys will end up doing wrong things here. Guys, this is our structural formula. Let's rewrite it. We've got a CH3 here. Do you guys all see the CH3 that I'm highlighting in red right now, that I'm boxing in red? The CH3.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it means that we're having a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. So you must indicate that we're having a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. And then after the CH3, what is following? We have got what? We have got carbon number 2. This is just a carbon. This carbon number 2 here is just a carbon. So I'm just going to say that we've got a single bond to a carbon. And then this carbon, guys, it is bonded to 2 methyl groups. So on top, we are going to see a methyl group. This one, this CH3. Do you guys see it? This methyl group on top,
Yes.
on top of this carbon.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so it's a methyl group. It's a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. 3 hydrogens. You show that. So this is the methyl group that I'm talking about. This carbon bonded to 1, 2, 3 hydrogens. This is the CH3. But here downwards on the same carbon, downwards we do have the same CH3. So it means we still do have a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. Now, and then after that we are done with this second carbon. We go to the third carbon, guys, the one having the triple bond. This one, this I will say just is the third carbon, not really carbon 3. We haven't started numbering them, but basically we go to this carbon, and this carbon is having a triple bond to the next carbon. Is highlighted. This is the next carbon. Okay. And then after that, that next carbon, it is bonded to the CH3. So it is bonded to a carbon, bonded to 3 hydrogens. So it is bonded, single bonded to a carbon, bonded to 3 hydrogens, like this. This is the complete structural formula. So if you guys cannot see the subscripts, rewrite it in this way. Then after that, you need to now figure out your parent chain. Let me ask one by one. You guys are going to say I'm slow, but I don't care now, because you guys are messing up and doing mistakes that are so unnecessary at the early stage, because we still have got esters to name. Let's hear from you guys. The main chain, or the longest chain, how many carbons does it have? The longest chain, how many carbons does the longest chain have?
5 carbon.
5 carbons. Okay, let's see. Here we can highlight this straight chain as the longest chain, because it has the functional group and it also has got a very high number of carbons than the other chains. But the other chains can still give you 5 as well. So remember, guys, you can highlight your chain in this way from here and highlight it like this. This is still having 5 carbons indeed. It will still be the same name, absolutely the same name. Okay, so this is the chain having 5 carbons. After highlighting, guys, do things step by step. There's time in the exam room. It doesn't help to rush, guys. It doesn't help to rush. Let's start here. Are we going to number our carbons from left to right or from right to left? Talk, guys. Yes, Mukobe.
From left to right.
From left to right.
From
So
right
we're
to
gonna-
left.
From right to left. Yeah, so we're gonna start by numbering the carbon that is found on the rightmost. This one, this carbon that is found away in the very right. So that's gonna be our carbon 1. That's where we're gonna start naming our carbon number 1. So this means this must be carbon 2, the one with the triple bond. All right, let me just remove the parent chain that I've highlighted. So it means that the next one, it is carbon 3, this one. Then this one will be carbon 4. Then this one will be carbon 5. Now, I'm sure we chose the straight chain. That is why we are numbering the carbons in the straight parent chain. So let me just re-highlight my chain so that you guys will not claim I'm highlighting something that's not there. This is your parent chain. Now, you first look at the substituents. The substituents can either be any carbon that is not found in the parent chain. Guys, the parent chain, it is the one that I've highlighted with the green box. So basically, you look for any other carbon atom that is not inside the green box. This is the parent chain. I already guys taught you how do you identify the parent chain. It has got the highest number of carbon atoms and it also contains the functional group. So that's how you identify the parent chain. Now you look how many other carbons are not part of this chain. You look at carbon number 4 on the parent chain. It is bonded to this carbon having 3 hydrogens. And the same carbon 4, it is also here downwards, it is also bonded to this carbon having 3 hydrogens. So basically these two groups, we now call them group of atoms, right? This is now known as a methyl group because it is one carbon having 3 hydrogens. It's a methyl group. One carbon having 3 hydrogens. Even the one downwards here, it is a methyl group. It is one carbon having 3 hydrogens. Do you guys all see the substituents or things that are not part of the parent chain? Do you guys see them? Yes. So from here, we can now say that at carbon number 4, we are having a substituent, which is a methyl group. At carbon number 4 again, we are still having a methyl group as well. So it's like the substituent is the same. A methyl group they are identical, all right? So it's a methyl and a methyl. So instead of saying like at 4 we've got a methyl and at 4 we've got a methyl, we just say that at carbon 4 and at carbon 4 we've got a dimethyl. So you have to indicate that at carbon number 4 and also at carbon number 4, you guys should not just write 4 alone. The 4,4 signifies that we are having 2 of these methyl groups. Although you are still going to write the dimethyl, but the 4,4 tells you that we're having 2 of this group is dimethyl. Then now you go to your root name. For your root name, you count the number of carbons in the parent chain. In this case, we've already numbered them to be 5. So that needs to give us a what? A pent. Don't be quick, guys. Don't rush to add an AN here. Please don't add an AN because the AN, it means that the compound is saturated. It means that there are only single bonds between carbon atoms. But for this compound, are we only having single bonds between carbon atoms, guys?
No, sir.
No. Between carbon 2 and carbon 3, we're having a triple bond. So that actually makes us to not even write the AN. So we remove the AN and now we just put a dash to indicate that we have another functional group that is found at carbon number 2. And then it's a functional group for alkenes, right? So this for alkynes, because a triple bond, remember guys that it is alkyne. So at the end you must have a YNE as the suffix. When it comes to the number of the functional group here that you put here, which is 2, you look at your triple bond. Your triple bond, it is between carbon 2 and carbon 3. But which number are you gonna write here? You're gonna write the smallest number that contains that triple bond. Okay, you don't write both the 3 and the 2 because we understand that a triple bond exists between 2 carbons. But when it comes to the naming part, guys, when you want to indicate the position of your naming group, you want to indicate the carbon having the smaller number. So between these 3 and these 2, which are having a triple bond between them, you only take the 2. That's the one that you're going to write. Are we clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what's your question?
So, sir, only write AN if ever my carbon atoms have a single bond.
Yes, you only write AN if the carbon atoms have got a single bond. If the compound is saturated, that is what it means. Because remember, guys, when all the carbons are having single bonds between them, you say that the compound is saturated, which is what we did when we introduced this topic.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, please be careful. Please be careful, guys. Such mistakes shouldn't be made, such as counting the wrong number of carbons. Okay, let's write the structural formula for each of the following. This one will be way much easier, I'm sure. This one will be way much easier. Let us write the structural formula for each of the following. Okay, let's start with A, which is 2.5 dimethyl hex 3-ine. So 2.5 dimethyl hex 3-ine. What do you guys do first before you even consider substituents in something? What is the best way of tackling this? I want to hear your strategies, guys, of writing the structural formula. Let's hear Oliver.
You're first gonna draw 6 carbon.
You're
Look
gonna,
out bonds.
yes, you're gonna draw the parent chain. Everything must arise from the parent chain because the parent chain is the parent. Like literally, guys, the parent is like the head. Okay, so you start with the parent chain. How do you know how many carbons are found in the parent chain? You look at this part of the name. There is a hex there. So the hex there is the root name. That's why I call it a root name, because it is the root of everything. Is the hex. Hex is a root name that signifies that, or that indicates that we've got 6 carbons in the parent chain. So we plot the 6 carbons, guys, as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you decide on the bonds between the carbons. Are we going to have only single bonds like the way that I've drawn this, guys? Are we going to have only single bonds? Yes, let's hear from Mukobe.
Gonna have triple bond.
We're gonna have a triple bond, right? What tells you that you're gonna have a triple bond there, Mukobe?
Because the suffix of the name ends with Y and E.
Yes, the suffix of the name ends with Y and E, so this is an alkene. So an alkene, we know that it must contain a triple bond. Okay, an alkene must contain a what? A triple bond. So it must contain a triple bond. And here, this 3, what does it tell you, guys? This 3, when we were naming, what did you say the 3 tells you on the hex 3-ine? Yes, Olive?
Well, it shows you where the bonds, the double bonds are, like after which one.
It shows you where the functional group is. In this case, it's a triple bond, right? Not the double, it's a triple bond. So this 3 is telling us that our triple bond, because for alkynes, we know that we must plot a triple bond between at least 2 carbons. So now at carbon 3, we must have what? We must have a triple bond. You now start numbering your carbon. This is your carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5, carbon 6. When you are writing a structural formula, you are free to even number from right to left, because it is you who is constructing the compound. It is you who is writing the structural formula. So you are allowed to even count from any direction. It will still be the same thing. Now on carbon 3, we must have a triple bond. What does this mean, guys? Will the triple bond be between carbon 3 and 4 or between carbon 2 and 3? Where will it be? It's Precious.
Between carbon 3 and 4.
Yes, it's between carbon 3 and 4. Why must it be between carbon 3 and 4? Yes, you can tell it, Sam.
Because in my own understanding is like, sir, like it happens after. Yeah, it happens after the numbers.
That's the yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way of remembering to say, you see, after carbon 3, that's when you start drawing the triple bond. And when you are naming, guys, remember the triple bond will be between carbon 3 and carbon 4. And when you are naming the position of the triple bond, remember, guys, when you are naming it, you choose the lowest number. So in this case, you would have to choose 3. That would make sense. But if you place it between carbon 2 and carbon 3, you would have to choose 2 because that's the lowest number. Do you guys get the sense of it?
Yes, sir.
So since this is an alkyne, Jalo, it is a hydrocarbon. So the rest of the atoms that is filling the 4 bonds of each carbon here, it must be hydrogen. Remember, each and every carbon must have 4 bonds in total. So don't mess it up by putting 6 bonds and whatever you guys do. Because some people put like 5 bonds on the same carbon. That will make it unstable. So this is your 2. Oh, wait, we've got substituents there. Guys, why didn't you tell me? Where are the substituents? Tell me the substituents. Let's hear, yes, Mukoba.
The first branch sits on position 2 and the second branch on position 5 carbon.
Yes, so the first branch, which is a methyl, because this is 2.5 dimethyl, so we're having two methyl groups, but one of them is on carbon 2, the other one on carbon 5. So on carbon 2, we're going to construct a methyl group. A methyl group, remember, is a C, is a carbon that is and on the side, that is not part of the parent chain, because you already drew the parent chain. Actually, this is your parent chain, the one that you made it first. So basically, your methyl group is not part of the parent chain. You take it out. Okay, it's just a carbon that is made up of 3 hydrogens. So that's the first methyl group. Which other methyl group do you guys see there? Yes, which other ones? Where we're gonna place the other one?
In carbon number 5, sir.
Yeah, on carbon number 5. You can place it down here or up here. It's still the same thing, guys. You can place it anywhere as long as you're gonna have a methyl group. That is a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. And then after that, the rest of the other bonds you must just fill with hydrogens, because each and every carbon must have 4 bonds around it. So the rest of the other bonds must just be hydrogen atoms only, to show that this is a hydrocarbon. Do you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, so you guys should follow up. Please follow up on this. Does any one of you guys want to do pharmacy later on in life here? It looks like there's no one who wanna do pharmacy. Is there anyone who wanna do chemical engineering? You can just open your mic and talk.
Yes, sir.
If you wanna do if you guys wanna do chemical engineering, or you wanna do anything that involves chemistry, you must please, guys, spend more time on the basics and make sure that you understand the basics. Okay, so let's construct. Let's write the structural formula for compound B. What are we gonna start with, guys? Let's be quick. This is a 2.4.4 trimethyl pent-1-ene. Okay, this is just a misspelling here. Yes, what are we gonna start with?
And which means we'll look for the name. Yeah, number B. We'll look for the pen. Therefore, it's going to be number 5. So
yes, it means that we're gonna have 5 carbons in the parent chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can just start with like single bonds for starters, and then now you will decide those 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the 5th one, and then now you decide, is this really saturated? Is this really an alkane? Let's look at what is the homologous series to which this belong, or what is the functional group? Yes, Precious.
Alkene.
Alkene. Why do we say that, Precious?
Because the suffix of the name ends with E-N-E.
Yes, I want you guys to repeat it because, guys, when I introduced the homologous series, I told you each and everything about the suffixes, but you guys seem to always neglect that. I don't know why, but this is your carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So on carbon 1, you are going to put the double bond. So after carbon 1, as Sam said, we're going to put our double bond there. Let's see a proceed, Sam.
Therefore, so we'll take the first methyl, we'll put it in carbon number 2, and the both other left methyls, we'll put them in carbon number 4.
Yes, so here we're having 2. It means that the first methyl, because this is trimethyl, so there are 3 methyl groups. So the first methyl group goes to carbon 2, the second one goes to carbon 4, and since 4 is repeated again with the comma, it means that the third one goes to carbon 4 again. So carbon 4 has got 2 methyl groups on top of it. So I'm going to say that on carbon 2, I'm going to put a methyl group, right? This is my carbon 2. So this is a methyl group. So it's a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. And then on carbon 4, I'm going to put 2 methyl groups on carbon 4. two of them, because here it says 2.4.4. So that four that is repeated, it means that this methyl group, it appears 2 times on the carbon number 4. And then what else should I do? What else should I do, guys? What is the remaining thing? Should I put oxygen here?
No, sir.
No,
No,
what?
You need to
sir.
include.
I just need to put hydrogens because these are all hydrocarbons. These are alkenes, guys. Alkenes are hydrocarbons. Told you guys that alkanes, and alkynes, all of those, they are what? They are hydrocarbons. So they must have hydrogen and carbon atoms only. So the remaining bonds must be hydrogens only, because remember, guys, that each and every carbon must be surrounded by 4 bonds in total. Once your bonds are not balancing, it's incorrect. Yes, Sam.
Remove one hydrogen there, sir.
From which one? Oh, the first one. Oh, from the double bond, this one. Okay, so we only have got 2 hydrogens there. So awesome. Do you guys see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So they're gonna mark your usually it's 3 marks to just write the structure there. Okay. Didn't open another slide for more space. Let's just finish up here. I don't know if the space is gonna be enough, but let's do see here. The space is gonna be enough here. 2 methyl 2 butene. Let's see. 2 methyl 2 butene. Yes, Orifa.
So you're gonna first start by drawing the butenes, like the
Yes.
4 carbon.
So it's 4 carbons that are
And
following each
then-
other.
Yes, sir. And then you're going to, after the second carbon, you're gonna put your functional group, which is the 2 bonds.
Double bond, right? So after carbon number 2, you put a double bond, because it says 2 butene here. So this 2 butene, remember, guys, it is the same thing as saying but 2-ene. So it means that we're having 4 carbons in the parent chain, and then on carbon number 2, we're having the functional group for alkenes, which is a double bond. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
What else should follow after that?
You go to the
First, the
second
hydrogen.
carbon, second carbon, and then to your methyl group.
Sorry, guys. Unexpected visitors. Say it, guys. What's next?
Go to the second carbon and your methyl.
Okay, you add your methyl on the second carbon because it says 2 methyl, right? So on the second carbon, you must have a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens. That's a methyl group. And then what else? What follows after this?
After that, on carbon 1, you're gonna put 3 hydrogens.
Yes, on carbon 1, we're gonna put 3 hydrogens. Why is that?
Because it will have 4 bonds if you put
It will
3,
have
because it
4
already had
bonds.
1.
Yes, okay. And then on carbon, what next? What's next after this?
Keep carbon 2 because it already has 4. Then you
Yes.
put 2 carbons, 3 and 3 carbons on carbon. 3 hydrogens on carbon 4.
Okay, on carbon 3, what do I put? How many hydrogens do I put on carbon 3?
So 1, my bad. 1.
1, yes, I put 1 hydrogen because we're already having 3 bonds existing, guys. If you count this is a double bond, so that's 2 bonds. This is the third one, so there are 3 bonds that are existing there already. So I'm going to only put what? I'm only going to put 1 bond for hydrogen there. So I'm just gonna put 1 hydrogen. Why can I not put anything else, guys, besides hydrogen? Maybe put lithium because it has got only 1 bond, single bonds. Yes, Sam.
So if ngizwe question yakho kahle, it's because of in carbon atom can only contain 4 hydrogen carbons.
Okay. What if I put something else? What if I put lithium with a single bond? That will be still 4 bonds.
Yes, I thought maybe you said for the second carbon atom, so that is why I said that.
Alright, let's go for the third carbon atom, because what if I said I should put a hydrogen here? What if I decide to put in a lithium, because a lithium can make single bonds? Well, what's wrong with that, Orif?
So it's a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon only has a carbon and a hydrogen.
Yes, and alkene is a hydrocarbon. There must only be hydrogen and carbon atoms. So once we see you putting strange things there, that's gonna be a problem. So yeah, that's how it works. Yes, Mukobe, are you having a question? Sam, are you having a question? I mean.
No, sir, I was just going to say, sir, it's because of the naming, the IPAC name they gave us doesn't include into, so we can't include into Bangaspangayon.
Definitely. So guys, quick prayer for less than a minute because it's about to close us now, guys. I need to go to a geography session.